There was a terrible tragedy on one of our beautiful South Florida beaches recently. A little girl was killed when the sand collapsed on top of her when she and her brother were digging a hole in the sand. Now, I did a show about this recently, about a year ago, and I have rescheduled the show I was going to do this week and show you clips from that show because it's a real danger that people are just not aware of. So hopefully all you parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles and people out there that are going to be coming to our beaches or bringing your kids to the beaches can understand this danger. Okay, come over here and I'm going to show you what happens when you dig in the sand. Okay, the sand is very heavy, and when you dig down deep, if it collapses in on top of someone, say this is a bigger hole, it's heavy and the person can suffocate very, very quickly, even before help can arrive. I know in this situation and others that I have read about, people feverishly tried to dig people out and they just couldn't get to them in time. But even if other beachgoers respond immediately as they dig and pull sand out, other sand can collapse in onto the victim, and that's what makes this so terrifying. The really dangerous holes are ones that involve tunnels. Sometimes kids will dig a hole and then they will tunnel sideways, and that makes it easier to collapse. But any hole is very, very dangerous. Okay, I am going to cut to the show that I recorded about a year ago, and I did run it then, but hopefully now everyone will share this because it's beach season. All you grandparents, aunts and uncles, parents that are going to be taking your children to the beach, you really need to know this because it's a danger that you don't even think about. Hi everybody, welcome to the Becky and Boca Show. I am on this beautiful Florida beach and I'm looking for holes. It's fun. Everybody likes to dig holes at the beach, especially little kids. There have been deaths. People have fallen into these holes. Deaths have occurred in multiple states, including a tragic story of a woman who fell in a hole in Maryland. A woman was walking at night and fell into an enormous hole. The sand covered her up and she was asphyxiated. Same thing happened to a young man on the Jersey Shore, on the beaches up there. He and his sister dug this enormous hole. The sand collapsed on top of him. The sister was rescued, but he was not. And it only took about 15 minutes to dig them out, but I guess the sand is so heavy and you can't get oxygen, so it is dangerous. It's been happening on all of our beaches, not just in Florida, but everywhere. Okay, let's go look for some holes. Every beach you go to, you will find children digging holes. I can't stress enough to you viewers how difficult it is to dig someone out if their head has been covered, because as quickly as you can pull that sand away from them, other sand has a lot of movement and can come and fill in the void, so it can make rescue efforts futile. And it's a race against time to prevent suffocation. When people go to the beach, they usually worry about the dangers of the water, drowning or sharks. They don't worry about what happens on the sand. I actually read that it is far more likely that you would die by falling in a hole on the beach than being killed by a shark. But nobody worries about digging holes. Give kids a beach and they are going to dig holes. It has probably been happening since the beginning of time. So if you do have kids and you take them to the beach, let them dig their holes, but keep the holes very shallow and fill them in before you leave the beach. Okay, everybody, thanks for joining me on this episode of the Becky and Boca Show. Please share this show. We don't want this tragedy to happen again. Everybody digs holes in the beach. It's fun. It's what kids like to do. Make sure if you do that, you keep the hole shallow, you cover it up when you leave, and keep an eye out for anybody that's digging a great big hole and warn them. All right, see you next week.